What's up, y'all? Today I have another foundation demo and review. Today I have another foundation demo and review for you guys, and it is on these bad boys right here, the CoverFx Custom Cover Drops. Told you guys in my favorites video, if you watched that I already filmed this once, and what I thought was my preferred method of application for these, and I will get into that here in a minute, was not, because when I went back and looked at the footage, I was like, oh, hell no, no, we're not doing that. Come to find out, my preferred method of application is, spoiler alert, no application. I'm not really a fan of these, and I know that there are hundreds of reviews on this product, and the reason being why there's so many is because CoverFx reached out to a lot of YouTubers, and sponsored them for videos for this product. Doesn't necessarily mean that the person who was sponsored is lying about the product. It could have very well worked for them. It just doesn't work that great for me. So because out of all the videos I've seen, I haven't seen anybody really kind of break down, and what do I want to say? Basically all the videos that I've watched, and I've watched a lot, they're just pretty much just gushing over and over and over about the product, and they're not really telling you the cons. And maybe they don't have any cons, but I do, so that's why I'm doing it. And I'm filming it again because it was crazy the first time I filmed it. My face was so freaking shiny, and I'm not about that life. So let's just get into it. So CoverFx Custom Cover Drops, if you've been living under a rock and you haven't heard of them or don't know what they are, a lot of people are calling them pure pigment, which is semi-true, but not true. They're basically pigment and silicone. There is a lot of silicone and dimethicone in here, and that is primarily the reason why I think I don't really care for them, because I've told you guys before that, like, my skin and silicone, just like, they don't mix, they don't mesh, they're not shipping, they're, you know, it ain't happening. So I think that's a huge reason why I'm not a big fan of them. But they are a really cool product, and they are a really cool concept. So like I said, if you've never heard of them, they are basically a rich form of pigmentation. So they're highly, highly pigmented, and they're not designed to be used on their own. They're designed to be mixed with other beauty products, anything of a cream or liquid nature. So you can mix this with primers, other foundations, beauty oils, moisturizers. So because of that, anybody from like a dry skin to an oily skin to a combo skin can supposedly wear these, because if you have dry skin, you can mix it with a moisturizer for a little bit more moisturization. If you have oily skin, you can mix it with like a mattifying primer to matte it out a little bit more. If you guys want my true, honest, straight up opinion, I feel like these are basically just another serum foundation, like the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Foundation, and you only get a half an ounce. However, I do feel like they are a lot more pigmented than like the Bare Minerals Bare Skin, or the NARS Luminous Weightless blah blah blah, or the Dior blah blah blah. I don't know the names of them because I don't really care for serum foundation, so I don't care to know the names. But I feel like they are a little bit more pigmented. However, they lay on the skin the same way. They blend out the same way. I honestly feel like if you already own the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Foundation, you can just drop some of that into a moisturizer and really have the same effect. So let's get into the packaging, which is not my favorite either. The packaging comes in a little glass bottle like this. This is a 0.5 fluid ounce, which means it is half of what a standard foundation, oh my god, I can't fucking talk today. This is a 0.5 fluid ounce, which means it is half of what a standard foundation comes in. Standard foundations are usually an ounce. This is $44 for half of that. But the way that CoverFx sees it is it's $44 for half an ounce. Because it's so pigmented, you only need a few drops. However, my opinion, Bare Minerals Bare Skin Foundation, you also only need a few drops. You need 4 to 6 drops for full coverage with Bare Minerals Bare Skin. Same as this. And the Bare Skin foundation comes in like a big ass bottle that's plastic, and that is a dropper and not like a dropper like this. So you guys can see the rim. Like, I have probably used this foundation a good 7 or 8 times, and this is what's happening. Whenever I see videos with people that have like the rim of their foundation is all clean, I'm like, the hell are you doing that I'm not doing? Because mine's a mess, you know? And honestly, like the Bare Minerals Bare Skin foundation kind of does that too, because the ones that we have at work are just like nasty and a total mess. And I don't want to wipe it off, because if I wipe this off, I'd literally be wiping off probably a good, I don't know, 10 to 12 drops. What do you guys think? Like, the heck? So with that being said, in CoverFx's eyes, because you need so little, you only need, you know, the small little bottle. And because it's so pigmented, you don't need that much, because you're not going to use that much, because this is going to last so much longer than a standard foundation. Now, I will say I really, really like the idea of this. However, like I told you guys before, my skin is not a fan of silicone. And if you're somebody that doesn't prefer the serum foundations either, I'm telling you now, you're probably not going to like this. They also claim that when you mix this with whatever you're mixing it with, it's not going to change the consistency of that product. For example, if you mix this with a moisturizer, it's not going to change the consistency of that moisturizer. So it's basically like this is going to take that over and in color, but not in texture and consistency. Making sense here? Am I making sense? However, I found that not to be all that true, because I have mixed it with this is just a little sample of the Mirage Age Balancing Moisturizer, and I find that it does kind of change the consistency a little, and it doesn't sink into the skin as well, you know what I mean? So, now that we've talked about the packaging and the price and the fact that I don't really care for it, let's go ahead and apply it. So the first time that I filmed me applying it, I used the It Cosmetics CC cream on one side of my face, and on the other side I put it on its own. It's not necessarily intended to be used on its own, however your face is not going to spontaneously combust from using it on its own. And if you're somebody that likes that full on coverage, you're probably going to be more apt to use it on its own. When I did that, I did not realize. Now, if you don't know my skin type, I'm very dry and I have a slightly oily T-zone. But I'm more dry. I can get oily throughout the day, but depending on what I'm wearing or if I powder it, it's not that bad, the oiliness anyways. But because I'm dry, that's why I mixed it with the CC cream. However, because this is exactly like the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Foundation, which is very luminous, or the NARS All Day Weightless Luminous Foundation, which is very luminous. This has, and because of all the silicone and dimethicone in it, it has a lot of luminosity to it. Like, I was greasy looking. That's why I'm refilming this today. So, with that being said, because this is really luminous and because this is really luminous, today I'm going to do one side on its own so you guys can see. And then on the other side, I'm going to use my Rimmel Stay Matte Primer, and we're going to see kind of the difference between using it with a mattifying primer and using it on its own. So let me quit jabbing about it and let's just get into it. I think I covered pretty much everything that I wanted to cover. So because this is like a serum foundation, you do need to shake it up really well before you use it, which is why I think the cap gets like all crusty and nasty. The little splatters on the cap are actually because I was trying to squirt out what was in the little dropper thing, and in order to like mix it with the rest, and my cap wasn't closed all the way, and it was like, it was crazy. I wasn't happy about it. All right, so mixing it up. So for my primer, I'm gonna do about this much primer. I am only using it on half of my face, so I don't need a whole bunch. And because I like full coverage, I'm gonna do 3 to 4 drops. So 1, 2, 3, fuck it, let's do 4. 4 drops. And then I'm just gonna take the back of my brush here and mix it up and show you guys. If you guys can see, it does what CoverFx says that it does. The pigment kind of takes over everything that you mix it with. So you see how it just kind of encapsulates, like that color encapsulates the primer. So before I apply it, I'm not going to prime either side of my face. So when I do use this on its own, I'm not going to prime, you know, the other side of my face, even though I'm mixing it with the primer for this side. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put this on and blend it in. I'm using my Makeup Geek foundation stippling brush as per usual. And I'm just going to speed through me kind of applying it and blending it in because you guys have seen me apply foundation 100 times. So I'm just going to go ahead and speed up through this. Alright, so that's one layer down. Now I'm going to go in with the second layer and kind of spot conceal where that didn't cover. Alright, so I've got 2 layers on. I've got 1 layer on my whole face, well, you know, my whole half of my face. And then I put another couple layers to spot conceal over my blemishes, my problem areas, and stuff like that. And for me, it didn't really give a total full coverage, and I used 4 drops, so that seems kind of like a lot. The 4 drops were supposed to be full coverage for your whole entire face, and I feel like it gave me a really good medium coverage on the half of my face. But again, I used 4 drops, and according to CoverFx, 4 drops is complete total coverage, which I don't feel like I got with that. Could be because I mixed it with the primer, who knows. But as you can see, because I put it with a mattifying primer, it doesn't really have like a luminosity to it. So let me go ahead and do the other side with just the drops, and then I will zoom in and we'll kind of take a look and compare both sides. So for the other side, I'm still just going to use 4 drops. 1, 2, whoops, 3, 4. So like I said before, I didn't prime this side of my face. I do have like my moisturizer and stuff on, but I did put my moisturizer on probably a good 2 to 3 hours ago, so it's had plenty of time to sink into my skin. Get out of the way, this probably wasn't the best hair choice. Alright, so I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side, but with the drops only. Take what's left and spot conceal. So that's 4 to 5 drops on this side of my face. As you can see, it gave me like a really good full coverage, and I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, but it is like a lot more luminous than this side, obviously because I use this side with a mattifying primer. So what I'm going to do is zoom in, and then we will compare sides, and I will kind of give you my thoughts on why it's not my favorite. Alright, so if you guys can see, it's really settling into my laugh lines like really bad, and settling into my forehead lines really bad. I don't know if it's just because my skin does not agree with this particular formulation of foundation, but I'm just not a fan of it. So I do think that this is the side with the primer and this is the side without. I do think I like the side with the primer a lot better. However, I couldn't get it to build right here where I have most of my acne spots and scarring. If you guys can see, it's even like leaving lines into my eyes, and my nose is like, it looks really gross. Like, it's just, I don't know. So what I'm gonna do now is turn the camera off for about 5 minutes or so and let it set on both sides, and then I'll be right back. All right, people, so this has been setting for like 5 or 10 minutes now. Watch me a little YouTube video. And the reason why I did this is because I wanted to show you guys kind of like the longer it sets, the worse it gets. The longer it sets, the worse it gets. Maybe if you don't have expression lines like I do, this wouldn't happen to you. But I also wanted to show you guys this. Okay, so let me show you. First off, do you guys, I hope you guys can see this on camera. If not, I'll close it up. This is like giving me lines where I don't even have lines. And if you just saw that, this has been setting for almost 10 minutes. I did not powder it. But a lot of people don't like to powder their products, you know, especially if you have dry skin. You don't want to powder, you know what I mean? Watch. Do you guys see? Can you see my fingerprints in my skin? So I would literally have to go the whole day without touching my face whatsoever. I need to blend that out because it's bugging the hell out of me. So that was the side that only has the custom cover drops. This side has the custom cover drops with the mattifying primer. And I don't know if you guys can see, like, I don't have anything on my hands, okay? Like, it's just my finger. It's not doing it as bad on this side, but it's still like, you know, if I touch my face, you see that? If I touch my face, it's just all going to come off. And I know the same thing happens if you mix it with a moisturizer or a CC cream or what have you, because I have mixed this product with a moisturizer, a CC cream, a primer, a foundation, what else? The only thing I basically haven't mixed this with is a beauty oil because it's shiny enough on its own. I don't want to make it any more shiny. So let me zoom out and I will wrap this shit up with some thoughts. Totally forgot to mention the color range. This has a really, really good color range to it. I think there's like 20 to 30 colors, and what I found is it's very reminiscent to MAC colors. So like I am an NW20 in MAC, and in the CoverFx cover drops I am an N20. So if you are an NW in MAC, you're probably going to be an N in this. If you are an NC in MAC, then you're probably going to be a G in this. They also have a P undertone, which is a pink undertone, which I think is pretty cool because, you know, not a lot of foundations have a pink undertone. Do I think this is a bad product? No. I think it's a really cool product, and those that like it love it. I do think that this is either going to be like a love-hate product. You're either going to hate it or you're going to love it. I'm not super crazy about it, if you couldn't already tell, but because of my skin type, like I told you guys before, my skin does not work well with silicone. If you are somebody with a similar skin as mine, if you're somebody who does not like silicone primers because they tend to like ball up on your skin and they just don't lay on your skin right, you're probably not going to like this because, as I said before, it is full of silicone and dimethicone, so it's probably not going to work for you. If you are somebody who did not care for the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Foundation, it's probably not going to work for you. If you're somebody who doesn't like the NARS All Day Luminous Foundation, probably not going to work for you. However, if you are one of those people who like those types of foundations, then you're probably going to love it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of my makeup on, and I'll come back and show you guys what it looks like with the rest of my makeup on, just so you get an idea of what it looks like with everything else on it. I'm going to set it with powder because when I go to put anything else on it, it's just going to come off. So I'm going to go ahead and set it with powder, put my makeup on, and then I come back so you can see that, and then we'll end it. Good? Yeah? Yeah. Okay. So the rest of my makeup is on, and it didn't go on too bad. I powdered it with my Too Faced Cocoa Powder Foundation, so it has it to the point where, you know, it's not like just wiping away when I touch it anymore, but it's just not my favorite. I don't really like how it accentuates my laugh lines, and You know, I only have like laugh lines right here, but because of this foundation, and a lot of other foundations don't do this, it's like going all the way up here, and throughout the day it just gets worse and worse and worse. And that's the reason why I wanted to do this. I honestly don't normally do foundation demo and reviews of foundations that I don't really care for, and the reason is because when I film, I have to go out and be seen in the world for the rest of the day, and I don't like looking like shit walking around being seen by the rest of the world all day. You know what I'm saying? Just try it out for yourself. I think it's just one of those things you have to try for yourself, and you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. But if you hate it, you can always take it back and, you know, just chalk it off as a loss. So that is it for this demo and review of the custom cover drops by CoverFx. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, leave them in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, or Snapple Chat. Not Snapple, Snap. I don't know why I always want to call it Snapple Chat, Snappy Chat, Snapchat, if you please. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye-bye.